Hello my lovelies, I hope you're all well. Today we're going to be looking at some shocking CCTV footage that will keep us up at night. Okay, are we ready to be scared? In 3, 2, 1. Grab a drink before I forget.
This first clip is rather shocking. A man was captured on CCTV injecting his ex with cyanide.
Okay. Oh no. Cyanide. That's crazy.
Ellie Tran is the name of the woman who was killed. She was a single mother to a daughter who was only 2 years old at the time.
Oh.
The person who stabbed her was a man named Joseph Molino. Ellie had traditional beliefs and wanted him to move into the family home with her parents. He wasn't so keen, and he soon became too controlling, so the couple ended up splitting. This obviously angered him, so he waited in her driveway and then attacked her from behind, plunging an antique syringe into Ellie's leg and injecting her with a lethal dose of cyanide, which is an incredibly poisonous substance. Within 15 minutes, she was unconscious and unable to breathe. Joseph was given a life sentence.
Good.
Number 2. Some of you may have already heard this one, but it's new to me.
Oh yeah.
It is such a mystery as who the killer was. A 45-year-old fitness instructor named Missy Beavers was stabbed to death inside a church on the 18th of April 2016. She was setting up an early morning fitness class. Students arrived to her class and discovered her body. They found her with multiple...
Yeah, we've we've watched this footage before, but they still haven't found the killer, which is crazy.
...puncture wounds to her chest and head. The police immediately checked the footage, and this is what they found.
Creepy. I've seen theories that it was it her ex-husband's dad or something like that, they reckon, but they can't prove it. It's so frustrating. It's a pretty distinctive walk as well, isn't it? The way he leans back as he walks, and his feet turn out quite far. That's pretty distinctive. And he obviously knew that she was going to be there because he's just wandering around waiting.
It's incredibly chilling to watch, just knowing that what that person did to Missy. From the footage, the police were able to determine that the suspect was 5'8", and some of their mannerisms and the way they walked have some experts thinking that it could in fact be a woman. And not only that, a pregnant woman.
What?
People have said the bulky SWAT uniform could hide their curves and bump. I might make a video about this in the future when I'm back in Sydney, just because there's so much to it, and because of how confusing and interesting the case is.
I don't know.
Number 3. Now this next piece of footage isn't exactly creepy in the way that the others are, but yet I found it chilling to see what people are capable of in broad daylight, in front of people and cameras. As you saw, the man was just jogging along, and as he passed the woman, he deliberately pushes her into oncoming traffic. If it wasn't for the bus driver's quick response, this could have been a truly disturbing sight. And just a few minutes later, the man even jogged back past the woman. She confronted him.
Wow.
And he just jogged on and ignored her. Officers looked at more than 50 suspects and arrested 3 men, who were all released without charge. And the case...
Is it because she wasn't trying to move to the side to let him run past? Is that what it was? Is he that scared to go past people closely? I mean, there's been a lot of that lately. I've seen people have walked in the road rather than walk past me on the path in recent times, or they've tried to get into like a bush. It's just insane. But yeah, very odd. That is very odd.
has since gone cold. But it's scary to think how someone could do this.
Yeah.
And your life would be over in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And you'd have no chance of doing anything about
stranger as well.
Number 4. This surveillance video shows the first terrifying moments of Samantha Koenig's abduction. A serial killer named Israel Keys is seen as a shadowy figure in a ski mask. Take a look.
Was this the coffee stand in Alaska? Is that right? She was working the late shift at a coffee stand and he took her? Or am I thinking of a different one?
Keys forced Samantha into his car at gunpoint, saying he was going to use her for ransom money. He bound and gagged her. He then took her to a shed outside his house.
Yeah.
Turned on the music loud so no one could hear her if she screamed.
Because he had a family as well, didn't he? Is that right?
He sexually assaulted her and then asphyxiated her that night. Israel is responsible for 3 confirmed kills.
Because I think then he did he took a picture of her posed as if she was alive, and I think he tried to get ransom money from her family, if I remember correctly.
And he is thought to have killed up to 8 people. He committed suicide while in prison.
Taking the easy way out, huh? Poor girl, she must have been terrified.
Number 5. Now this next one isn't actually a video clip, but some of the still shots taken from the CCTV footage captured inside the shopping mall in Bootle. So I think that still counts. And to me, this is some of the most haunting CCTV footage stills I've ever seen.
Is this James Bulger?
You can see James on the left, and to the right, holding James's hand, is John Venables.
Yeah.
And in front...
This case is still so shocking today. This has happened in England. This little boy, I think he was 2 or 3 years old. He was out shopping with his mum, and she was in the shop, and she looked away very briefly, and these 2 boys, who I believe were like 12 or 13, something like that, they took the little boy, James, and they killed him. They walked him for miles, and they killed him. And it is still so disturbing today. And they actually released the boys. They did juvenile time, I believe. I don't think they ever went into adult prison. They released them. They gave them whole new identities so that they could have a normal life, which obviously for most people was a disgusting thing to do. And then it got leaked that the that John Venables, the boy that's holding James's hand, has been rearrested at least once for having indecent pornography. I'm just going to say that. You know what I'm talking about.
Is Robert Thompson.
Yeah.
Most people in the UK are very familiar with these names.
Yeah.
And the still clip from the CCTV looks innocent until you know the shocking backstory to this.
Yeah.
James and his mother were shopping, and when his mother took her eyes off him for a few seconds, he vanished. They eventually found this CCTV footage of James being led out of the shopping centre with 2 young boys.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, because his mother initially was relieved to see that it was boys that had him, because she thought, oh, he's okay then, because they're other children. What they did to him.
His mother and father were relieved, as it meant he was most likely safe with the boys.
Yeah.
But she had no idea what these boys were capable of.
No one did.
They led James to a railway track, where they brutally tortured him and left him on the track to be run over by a train.
Yeah.
He was only 2 years old when they killed him.
Evil boys.
Philip Chisholm.
They say that people wonder if some people are born bad. I would say that's a pretty good example of being born bad, because at that age, you know what's right and wrong.
Can be seen on the CCTV clip before he killed his teacher. His 24-year-old math teacher, named Colleen
Followed her into the bathroom.
walks out of the shot. She is heading to the bathroom. Then we see Philip contemplating following her, but he makes up his mind and goes in after her. We then see him wheeling away a bin with her body inside, and it's thought that she could actually have been alive at this point still.
Changed his clothes.
Chisholm was a 14-year-old freshman who had just moved from Tennessee when he killed Ritzer. He strangled her and cut her throat with a box cutter, and then dumped her body in a forest.
Beautiful.
And there's thought that the murder was sexually motivated.
Yeah.
He was found guilty and given 40 years in prison. This footage is the last moments of her life.
Some really nasty people in the world, isn't there? And so young as well. And that's the end of that. They say that truth is stranger than fiction, and I think we can all agree that seeing footage of actual killers and stuff like that, it is disturbing. You know, we've seen things on this channel that could be described as paranormal. I'm not really a big believer in the paranormal, but obviously we know that killers and bad people exist. So to see that actual footage, in a lot of ways for me, it is more disturbing than the apparent ghosty things and stuff like that. I don't know, what do you think? I thought it was a pretty good video. It was I know we've seen well, I at least have seen a few of those before and know some of the stories. I don't think I'll ever get over the James Bulger case, and I don't think a lot of people in my country will either, because it was such a horrendous crime, and the fact that it was 2 boys that killed this toddler, and the way that they did it as well, they tortured him, and you don't think that kids are capable of that kind of thing. So it was truly disturbing. And yeah, I don't think it's something that a lot of people in this country will get over. It's always going to be in our conscience. And the fact that the boys were let out and given new identities, and then one of them at least has re-offended, it just makes me think that they should still be away. I mean, can you imagine if you met somebody and you got into a relationship with it, and then you found out that when they were like 12 or 13 that they tortured and killed a 2-year-old boy, and you had no way of knowing that because they were given a new identity? I mean, what are you supposed to do in that situation? It's insane. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers so I can monetize. Please help me out, and I'll see you very soon.